Well, friends, it's time to maybe light some incense, clear the week, connect below and up. And here's the question. Was the high priest in the ancient Jewish temple high? And cannabis, where does it come from? And can it really be already time to legalize? All this and more in this week's word, offering some passwords to the riddles of our lives and dismantling patriarchy, one word at a time. And this week's word is Cannabis, or in English, cannabis. So there is that tent of time, Ohel Moed, the Mishkan, the tabernacle as it's known, which has been consecrated, and last week we talked about the outfits, and this week they're talking about the incense that connected the below and the above with a pillar of smoke in that and many modern sacred spaces. What was in that incense mix? You might want to know. Well, there are 11 secret ingredients, not so secret. One of them is something called Cannabis. Say Cannabis 5 times fast. Cannabis. So scholars over generations have been wondering whether the therapeutic, healing, sometimes psychedelic aspects of cannabis were part of what was in our ancient Semitic culture. And that's a very likely possibility. Cannabis does show up as this fragrant reed in chapter 30 of the book of Exodus that describes in this complicated Torah portion how the fragrant sense of connection was part of the experience of coming to meet oneself and the divine. Cannabis is complicated. Whether you are a user or not, whether you are judging it or not, whether it's being legalized in your state or not, it is obviously a place where we can understand moderation, we can appreciate Mother Nature's wisdom, and know that even in Jewish tradition, it's been there as a way to maybe open up our mind and our hearts a little better. And we are hoping that in today's culture, as many of us appreciate its gifts and challenges, it will become a source of less contention and certainly less injustice that impacts some of us more than others and opens up the doors to healing and to health in so many ways. Just ask Martha Stewart. So Cannabis shows up in the Torah. It is part of the ancient incense, and the trick is moderation. I once asked a venerable rabbi, "Hey, rabbi, what's the deal with weed?" And he said, the only question is who's the master and who's the servant? If you're in charge and know to moderate and appreciate it for what its gifts, go for it. If you are enslaved to it, not so great. So there you have it, folks. From the ancient temple to your Shabbat, find ways to moderate and contemplate, to connect heaven and earth, to do what it can in the middle of COVID, in the middle of so much, to take care of yourself safely, lovingly, in a sacred way. This is word, 1 week at a time, one word per riddle, dismantling patriarchy, one breath at a time. Shabbat Shalom.